Good morning everyone and welcome to today's assembly. I wonder which little bit of Christmas I am showing today in my assembly story. Can't seem to see anything. Wonder if you've spotted anything. Well, we are now in December and this is my first story in December, and I bet you've all opened your advent calendars. That will help you with the countdown to Christmas. But it's the countdown for celebrating, for thinking about our families, for getting presents and giving presents and all those wonderful things. But remember, for Christians, this is the countdown to their main celebration, a very special time that happened long ago when Jesus was born. And Christians believe that Jesus was the Son of God and he had come to save the world. So he was a very special person to them. And that's why, really, that we do celebrate Christmas. So I just wanted to remind you of the first Christmas. It all began when an angel visited a young woman called Mary. The angel's name was Gabriel, and he had come to give Mary a message from God. Mary had heard all about angels, but she had never seen one before. When Gabriel appeared, she was very frightened. "Don't be afraid," said Gabriel. "God has chosen you to be the mother of his son. He will be the most important baby ever, and you are to name him Jesus." Soon afterwards, Mary married a carpenter called Joseph. Another angel had told Joseph all about Mary's special baby, and he promised to love Jesus as if he were his own son. Now at that time, the Emperor of Rome was counting people because everyone had to pay their taxes. That's a sum of money that helped to pay for the army and for building roads. The emperor was working out how much money people had to pay by adding them up, all the people that lived in Palestine. Everybody had to go back to the town where they were born to be counted. It was quite a business. You see that? Mary and Joseph lived in Nazareth, but Joseph was born in Bethlehem, so he and Mary were having to make the long journey to Bethlehem. It took them about a week. Mary rode all the way on a donkey, and by the time they got to Bethlehem, Mary was very tired. Her baby was due at any moment. "We must find somewhere to rest," said Joseph. They went straight to an inn and pushed through a crowd in the doorway. The innkeeper had to turn them away. "Sorry," he said, "no room." "No room?" Joseph was really worried. They went from house to house looking for somewhere to stay. But there were hundreds of visitors in Bethlehem, and everywhere was full. There's no room at the inn. At last, when it was dark, they found a stable, and the kind owner moved his animals into a stall and gave Mary's donkey food and water. Mary made herself as comfortable as could be on a bed of straw, and that night, baby Jesus was born. Mary gently wrapped her baby to keep him snug and warm. Joseph spread soft hay inside a manger. It made a good cradle. There in the glow of an oil lamp, Mary and Joseph watched as the newborn baby slept. See, fancy having to stay in a stable and have a baby there. Dearie me. In the hills around Bethlehem, shepherds were looking after their sheep, and although it was late at night, the shepherds were wide awake. Wild animals were always on the lookout for a stray lamb. Everything was peaceful, and the shepherds were startled by a brilliant light. They shielded their eyes from the glare and were very afraid. Then a voice spoke out of the brightness. It was an angel. "Don't be frightened," said the angel. "A king has been born in Bethlehem. The baby is God's son. Go and see him. You will find him in a stable, lying in a manger." Wow. Can you imagine an angel appearing in the sky? I think I'd be frightened too. Well, the shepherds could hardly believe their ears. They were amazed. As soon as the angel finished speaking, music filled the air and all the heavens were singing to God. In a while, the sound of their voices faded and the shepherds looked up to the stars. But the angels had gone. "We must hurry to Bethlehem," said the shepherds when they had recovered. First, they made sure that all their flock were safe. Then they ran down the hillside and went to look for the newborn king. There's where all the angels appeared. The streets of Bethlehem were quiet as the shepherds searched for the stable, but suddenly they heard a noise. It was a baby crying. After that, they found the stable easily. "Come in," said Mary. It was as if she was expecting them. The shepherds went in and found Jesus in the manger, just as the baby had said. Now, there were 3 rich wise men living in another country far, far away from Bethlehem. These men had spent many years studying the stars. One night they saw a new star. It was brighter than any they had seen before. The wise men were sure it was a sign that a new king had been born. So they loaded up their camels and they followed the star. It led them over hills, across deserts, along rivers. That beautiful star guided them all the way to Bethlehem. It shone right over the stable where Jesus lay. You can see the 3 kings, 3 wise men on their camels. Mary and Joseph welcomed the 3 wise men in their fine clothes and jewels. But as soon as the wise men saw the baby Jesus, they knelt on the dusty floor and worshipped him. The 3 wise men gave Jesus gifts of gold, frankincense, and sweet-smelling myrrh. 3 very special gifts fit for a newborn king. See? And lots of our songs come from this story. And now that is the story of the very first Christmas long, long ago. It's good to remind ourselves of why we celebrate Christmas. Now, I can keep hearing bells. Just going to find out where that's coming from. Have a good day. Bye.